we are in the frame.
We are live too.
We are live, and the little green dots are going. That means our audio is going through. Now we just have to play this and make sure that audio is running through, and we're good to go.
Okay, cool.
Dang it! So knock on wood. We mastered this thing.
So now what?
Now what do we turn that on for? Are we supposed to be doing Are we supposed to be doing a podcast?
I don't know.
You don't. I don't know either.
I'm guessing here.
Okay, let's start this thing. Let's see. Card is in.
Card is in.
And we go live.
Nope, not that one.
That's the wrong button.
We're gonna try that again.
We're gonna try that again. How did I mess that up?
Is that like Christmas music?
I don't know what that is. Okay, here's the one we need. Let's try this again. Ready?
Yep.
To the republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God.
Indivisible.
With liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, conceal carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the War Room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And we are back once again into Saturday evening, and we are tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. Joining me tonight is the gunslinger.
I am back.
You are back, sir. Where have you been and how have you been?
I've been good. I've been working. Been dealing with some family crises going on, but
that's no good.
No, it wasn't fun, but
everything good.
So far.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it just wasn't a fun day for me, but
no. And you, like I said, we don't need to know anymore unless you want to share more.
No,
it's totally up to you. So, are we past this cold, nasty weather?
Gosh, I hope so.
I had a class today, and it was a good class.
Mm-hmm.
It had about, I think we had 12 people in it. And I tell you what, they were troopers because it was not fun this afternoon. That wind was blowing probably 25 miles an hour. It got to the point that they would empty half. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to sit up a little bit. I'm going to sit up tall.
There you go.
They would empty out like half a box of ammo, and it would start to blow. The wind would start to slide it across the table.
Just for
I got to a point, some of them I was like, just, you know what, just dump all this ammo into your pocket, because I do not want to spend an hour sorting ammo off that I've picked up out of the gravel, deciding who gets what ammo.
Yeah, pocket full of shells.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I gotta adjust stuff over here, but it was a great class. They toughed it out, and they were good shots.
Well, that's a plus.
All of them were good shots. Yeah, they were, and you've helped me in the class, and a lot of times we'll get a pretty decent group kind of spread out there. These guys, they did well. They were all like on the paper, and we had a lot of like fist-sized groups. But by the time we were done, it was pretty good. We had a couple of those Kel-Tec 22s, the 17s, the PF 17s. What
there's the P17 or the
P17,
CP33.
Yeah, no, these are the little ones, right? The little ones. And yeah, the cold weather was kind of affecting them. They kind of got them into a little bit of this is like the first shots I've ever fired in this gun, and it was cold out. And so that packing grease that they pack those guns in, their lubrication, they lubricate the guns, but they also protect them a little from rust. But man, does it get cold and thick fast.
I bet.
Really fast. There was a gentleman there that had, I don't even know what brand it was. It was a 1911, and you're looking at an all metal and all steel gun right there. And so that one got cold really, really quick. It started to malfunction as well. And that's the big theme that I'm seeing this year, since we're not using an indoor range. Big theme is I don't think people realize how horrible their guns may run, depending on the type of lubricant or oil or whatever that they use.
But it's almost a good thing, because then you can figure it out.
You want to figure that stuff out on the range
before you have to actually use it in a situation.
So what kind of, and we're going to talk about tonight on the Patriot Defense Podcast, we're going to talk about lube.
All right.
What kind of gun lube do you use, sir?
I use,
Do you like fancy?
I do a few different ones.
What?
But the primary one that I use is the LM or the M Pro 7.
You mean there's more than just hops number 9?
Yeah.
What the
Well, that's not, well, I mean, I use that as a solvent.
That they have that
And the cleaner.
hops number 9.
They do have a
gun
lubricating
oil.
Yeah.
It's just a gun oil, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like 3-in-1 oil. I don't know what it is. But so what's so special about what you use?
It's designed more for like the semi-auto stuff.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it like low, like low temp, cold weather type stuff? Is
Well, not necessarily. I don't think has a temperature thing on it, but it's just made to bond more to the metal, I guess, stick
Right.
to the metal more.
what about Frog Lube? You
I've
ever
heard of Frog Lube. Yeah.
I just use, Hobbies number 9. I use their solvent, and I use that. I'm old school, man. I pull up that old gun cleaning kit that my dad gave me, or
Mhm.
I think maybe I stole it from my dad. I'm not sure. One of the two, right? It comes in this box, and it looks like something that you'd see a bunch of guys from the 1950s or 60s sitting around their duck camp back at the lodge cleaning their shotguns with, right? And that's what I use. And frankly, I've never had a problem with it. I'm sure there's better stuff out there. I've never had cold really affect it that I can see. I mean, my gun always runs. I loan my guns out all the time in class. You've been in my class with me. I loan my guns out all the time. And I've never had one of mine have any problems. So I guess old school, man. Old school still works.
I've never, now that you mention it, I've actually never pushed my guns very hard in the cold.
In the cold. Well, it's not like these students are not pushing their guns that hard in the cold.
I really haven't pushed it at all. Like
Right.
I tried it. Well, I did shoot a little bit over here, it was about a month or two ago,
Right.
but I didn't shoot a lot. I mean,
it doesn't take a lot. I think a lot of what I'm seeing, honestly, is I think a lot of them are newer guns. And, you can buy a gun, legitimately buy a gun, and you can take it right to the range and shoot it. It's got enough lube on it. It's got enough oil in it, right? It's going to be just fine. Unless the thing's leaking oil, which some of them do.
Yeah.
You can take it and shoot it. I always have.
Funny when the Kimber, I could get a Kimber out of the box and
Was it dripping,
messing with it. And and then like you mess with the hammer on it, and the hammer like sprays a mist of oil. Yeah.
So I think a lot of what we're seeing is people who would normally buy a firearm brand new and they would take it out in the summer and shoot it, and it's fine. What we're seeing is it's just that stuff is a little thicker. I'm not going to call it Cosmoline because it's not, but it's a little thicker, and it's meant more for packing, not for shooting in cold weather, right? And
right.
I think that's exactly what happens. I think I posted, what did I post? I posted this morning before we went to shoot. I said, it'll be interesting. This class is cold out. The wind is cold and people are like using hand warmers. It'd be interesting to see how many guns jam up. And my buddy, Paul, he listens to this as well. He commented on there. He's like, just go get some of that bacon grease you use on your E-cannon. I was like, I know that stuff gets thick.
Oh yeah. Without a doubt.
I know that stuff solidifies really well. So, I will say though that I did clean my VP9 before my class, and like I've pointed out before, it ran flawlessly.
Before your class that you took,
before my class that I took, and it ran flawlessly, and I haven't had a problem with it. I think I'm good for another year before I clean it again.
Oh, geez.
I honestly think I'm good for another year.
I think I probably fired 40 rounds through mine, and I'm probably gonna clean it here pretty soon.
No, not me. So let me tell you how lazy it is when it comes to my firearms. So on the back of a VP9, you don't have to have them, but they have these little tabs.
Yeah.
That they're for pulling this, for racking the slide, right? For grip.
Yeah.
Right.
The ears or whatever you want.
Their ears. Yeah. They're real minor, but they do help.
Yeah.
Right. They got one on the left and one on the right. Now to install these tabs, they slide into the groove that's machined out of the side of the slide.
Yeah.
And then they have a little L-shaped piece that tucks back under the rear sight. Somewhere along the lines, I freaking lost one. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea where it went or when it fell off. Or
probably in your appendix area.
It could be. I should shower more often. But no, and so I have no idea where it went. So I bought one. It was like freaking 40 cents or some stupid thing like
Really?
that. It was $1. It was cheap.
Oh, wow.
So I threw it on an order when I was spending all my money.
An HK part?
Yes.
Wow, that cheap?
It was pretty freaking cheap. And so I bought it. And I was going to put it on before my class. Like, I want this gun, like, top notch, man. I'm ready to go. I can rack that slide. And I got to look, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to take this freaking rear side off. And I tried to wedge it in there. I was like, oh, I'm going to break this thing before I give up. And I could not get it on. So I just put it in a bag and left it at home. I'm too lazy to take that freaking rear side off and then have to put it back on and resight the freaking gun in.
Well, yeah.
I'm ready.
I can't blame you for that.
I am ready to cut that little ear off of it.
Yeah.
That tucks in and like Gorilla Glue that sucker to the to the slide. Just call it good.
You should have just.
It works in hair.
Well, that's true. Yes, it does. It works great in hair. Gorilla Glue.
But yeah, I'm too lazy to remove that freaking side. I'll never. In fact, I should just cut the other one off, make it even, because I'm a real symmetrical kind of guy. I like stuff symmetrical. And so
that's what I was wondering is why didn't you just take the other one off?
I might, because it's really bothering me.
Okay.
It probably will not come off easy, but somehow the other one
probably not. Yeah, the other one just fell off, and this one's going to be like Gorilla Glued on there already.
Yeah, exactly. I'm afraid that I would mess up my shooting if I screw up that freaking rear sight.
Maybe it's helping you. Maybe because it's like dominant.
Yeah, maybe it's like more
balancing out.
There's more weight on the one side. That's what it is. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And yeah,
this is the only this is my trick. Nobody else does this. This is my trick.
That's right. Exactly. Well, we do know that I do tend to slap the trigger because that's what the instructor in my class I took was screaming. You're slapping the shit out of that trigger. You're slapping the shit out of that trigger.
I'm like, slap a trigger.
I'm like, it's freaking, we're 3 days in. We've got 45 minutes left in this whole class. Everybody is slapping the shit out of the trigger right now. Everyone's freaking tired.
Yeah.
But, oh man. Anyhow, I won't talk about that class much anymore. That was a lot of fun, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about that later.
Cool.
So I'm trying to think. So new store, right?
New store.
I tell you what, you tell us what you want to tell us or what you're allowed to tell us about the new store. Tell us what's going on.
Coming, people. It's we are growing a lot. We're going from a store that is 30-some thousand square feet to about 88,000 square feet.
Are you going to rival Sportsman's Warehouse?
We're going to give them a pretty good run. I'm going to tell you that.
That's awesome.
In fact, our gun counter has you have to put a stamp on the envelope and mail it to the other end of the gun counter. Let's just say that's how big it is. Yeah.
Nice.
So, we're not, unfortunately, going to have a huge variety of guns because of the lack of availability right now. But we are going to have quite a few quantity-wise of guns. We're just not a lot of variety.
So you're going to have like 500 guns of one specific model.
Yes, like the 365 SIGs or something like that.
It doesn't matter. They'll all sell.
Yeah. We are picking up new product line that we've never had before. In fact, some of it's nothing that's ever been in this area.
Nice.
Like, for instance, Alien Gear holsters.
Very nice.
Actually met up with those guys. When was it? Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe? Yeah, Wednesday.
Are they pretty cool?
They're pretty cool, actually. Pretty laid back, chill guys.
Nice.
Got to meet with those guys, and we got like a whole product line of them. And then one of their sister companies or whatever you want to call it, the Tactica brand, which is marketed more for women and stuff. They've got belly bands and range bags and all this cool stuff for women. And it's not like foo-foo. It's not too foo-foo-y, women can still feel like they're part of the gun world and really cool,
pink with a bunch of flowers on it or something.
It's not foo-foo-y stuff. But it is marketed for women. I mean, their sizes and everything are, but it's not the foo-foo-y women. It's the real, American, like, awesome women that yeah, that's the way I look at it. So
cool.
Sorry if I offended any women for that.
no, it's good.
But no, there's some cool stuff that's just stuff we've never had before. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing where that stuff goes and seeing how it does. Yeah, we've got a whole new archery section. I mean,
You got an indoor
range,
little
and
range,
this
right?
Indoor range is bigger than any range in the Magic
So
Valley.
is it
I will tell you that right now.
is it just room to go in and like if they're tuning a bow, you can shoot it if you buy one, or what
it's
is
for
this?
people who are buying a bow where we can get them set up, their pole and
Very nice.
their draw length and their, all that stuff. It's not just for the public where they can come in and shoot at a range and stuff. But this room is huge. I
but
mean, it's
after
absolutely
hours,
huge.
the employees.
Oh yeah,
might
we're going to be using it, I'm sure. But
very nice.
it's insanely big. I mean, I'm thoroughly impressed with the way they did it. But
so is this so since this is a bigger store, so and I'm just curious, is this like a flagship big store for your company, or is this like there's other big stores around, or they're just trying this out here?
this is literally our next biggest store is about 50,000 square feet. So we're 30,000 some square feet.
This is
bigger.
a pretty new thing.
Yeah, this is a
for your
totally new
company.
thing for the company. First time they've ever moved a store. That already had a current store and then moved into a different
Nice. Look at you guys.
It's the old Kmart building. I mean, everybody here knows that.
Yeah.
So, but the joke is the D&B Mart, which you walk into that place, you won't even think Kmart.
Yeah.
It looks totally different.
So when I worked at my day job, I get up early in the morning and I had a little bit of time between accounts. I'd go over there and pull behind that gas station and freaking sleep.
Oh yeah, that's great. Well, the gas station, even the gas station, that's what's cool about it is they're excited that we're moving in there. They're talking about expanding the gas station a little bit.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Like for restaurant type stuff.
Oh, cool.
So I don't know if they're talking like McDonald's or whatever, something going in there, but I think it would be kind of cool. There's people stopping by wanting to set up little taco stands in the parking lot and everything.
That's going to be big.
There's a huge buzz in Twin Falls about this store. So
you're like,
tacos.
I'm
like, tacos and hot dogs and all that good stuff.
Yeah, nice.
That I really shouldn't be eating, but anyway.
Well, yeah, I hear you.
No, it's a lot of buzz going on and it's really cool. Pretty excited about it. I'm not looking forward to the moving part, but once we get established, and it's still going to be probably a few months before we get everything set how we exactly want it. But
right.
But hell or high water, we're going to open on the 25th, so it's coming.
8:00 in the morning. Bring your campers. Bring your tents.
Yep.
You can set up. You can start setting up
two
camp.
boxes of ammo.
You can set up camp the night before. That's right. Will that taco truck be there the night before?
Gosh, that'd be awesome. If it is, I'm going.
Pizza, tacos.
Yeah.
You're out there roasting sausages.
Well, it's a much better location for us. I mean, the parking lot's huge. We're not on the complete outskirts of town. We're still kind of on the going out of town part, but it's not.
It's really nice for me because when I would go stop by and say hi to you guys, I go down that way and then have to turn and go down. And now I just have to go by and freaking pull in. It's great. I can make my ammo loops a little easier.
Yeah, that's what everybody's been saying. Oh, it's easier for me to stop by and check if you have ammo.
It is because it's not far out there, but it's out there where you would never go for anything else.
Yeah. But it's cool because, the way they have it set up is you walk in the front door and straight ahead, like you just walk straight to the back. There's just it's an aisle that goes right to the gun counter.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. So
I like it.
They've got it set up pretty nice.
When I show up, you're going to roll out the red carpet for me. Come on back.
Maybe like the champagne yellow carpet or something.
That'll work.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. Well, I'm excited. I don't know if I'm going to be in there Thursday morning at 8:00, but I'll be in there that morning sometime.
Yeah. I'm thinking about going in early just to seeing how everything's going and see how many people are there. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, I could sleep in that morning and, because I'm not scheduled till 11. So.
You're not scheduled till 11?
Yeah. So I don't know.
Okay.
There is ammo there. You're not going to be able to buy like a ton of it. It's still the 2-box limit. It
doesn't matter what SKU it is. It's 2 boxes.
2 boxes total.
It's like one box of 9, one box of 22, or 2 boxes of 9.
Exactly. It's not 2 boxes of each caliber. No.
Why not?
I don't know.
If I've got the money and I want to spend it, I'm kidding.
Right.
I'm giving you a hard time.
It all sells the same. So
it's right. I'm giving you a hard time. We will share with everybody.
That's the thing is we're trying to share the love. Everybody, you're preaching the 2A community.
I am.
We all want to be, all inclusive and everything. So share the love. That's the thing. If somebody is really desperate for ammo and they needed some, I'd probably sell them some, and I wouldn't be price gouging.
Right.
Yep.
No,
so far I'm not to the point where I think anybody's like super desperate for it.
Right.
Because I'm not that desperate for it. So,
well, here's the thing, and we're gonna transition this into something else here, but it's a good transition, by the way.
Yeah.
You didn't even know you were doing it.
I was doing it. Okay. No one.
So there's I can't remember the full saying, but right, they say, if you got a problem, you take it to the ballot box. If that doesn't fix it, you take it to the cartridge box, right?
Oh gosh.
We're not to the cartridge box yet. We're not to the cartridge box. People, we've talked about this before. In my mind, people are ready for war. People are this. People want to take up their rifles. We're not there yet. Okay. Let's start at home. Let's start with local government.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, try to get your city or your county to become a Second Amendment sanctuary. Or if they don't want to do the sanctuary thing, try to make some kind of statement or something like that, right? To come out and say, hey, look, we will back you up. We will do this. We will do that. And that's kind of what we're doing locally in Twin and a lot of little towns around here. Yeah. A lot of little towns have actually achieved it. I know someone brought it to the Twin Falls City Council and they actually shot it down the first time.
Of course they did, because they're
right. But they shot it down, but yet it was just one or two people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They've got a big petition out now. They're actually having a Second Amendment rally coming up this Thursday at 6:30 in Twin Falls at the Twin Falls City Hall. And they're going to have, it's going to be literally going to be like 30 minutes long. They're going to have a couple of speakers. They're going to speak for a few minutes each. And I was actually invited to speak. I cannot make it because I have a class that I have scheduled. Last year, right?
Yeah, this has been a long time.
Yeah, it's a big class that runs the entire summer. I can't get out of that, which is fine. So I won't be there, but we are encouraging everyone. If you're local and you're listening to this, show up to that rally. Show up to the rally, right? Bring your friends, your family, bring your kids. We want to get, they want to get numbers out there is what they want.
It's called a rally for a reason.
And we want this to be obviously a peaceful rally. And we are encouraging people, if you can still carry your firearm. That's fine. But don't open carry your handguns there. Don't open carry your rifles.
Yeah.
Don't show up all kitted out, because as much as we know that is your right to be able to do that, we do not want media to show up and grab that photo off.
They're going to paint us in a bad light.
Because, they're going to grab that photo off and not even going to talk to the person they take a picture of.
Not a bit.
They're going to snap a picture of 2 or 3 guys. The way that they're going to take it is going to position it and make it look like there's nothing but a bunch of armed people that has ascended on City Hall in Twin Falls, and you're going to be on the front page of the picture. They're going to flash that on the video. They're going to flash that on the news, and that's what they're going to say. A bunch of armed. We had an armed Second Amendment rally, and 3%ers must have showed up, and crazies from the woods showed up with their firearms, and that's what they're going to say.
Well, they're going to paint us in the same light as they did the rioters,
Exactly. And they want us to be domestic terrorists.
Exactly. And that's what you're going to look like. They're going to make you look like that. So don't show up with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you can carry your firearm. Nobody's got to know you have it. You still feel all nice and fuzzy inside knowing you have it, but you don't need to go showing it off. It's just not the right time, not the right place for it.
Exactly. I mean, they had a no mask mandate rally, and this was a few months back, right? People showed up with their freaking rifles there. There was no need for that. There was no need for you to open carry your AR-15s there. Yeah. And we don't want people to do that at this rally. Show up. It's a family friendly event. Listen to some speakers. Get excited. Let the city council and people of Twin Falls, because I guarantee you they're not having a meeting that night. They're going to have it, I think it's like on the Monday or something. But I guarantee you they are going to be there, and they are going to know how many people showed up.
Yeah, and
they're going to keep an eye on it.
You're going to let them know that you're passionate about it.
Yes, sir.
And you can do it in the appropriate way where you don't come off looking like an idiot.
Yep.
And
Nimrod.
Yeah, just don't do that kind of stuff. Make them feel better about it, If you're going to be there and you're going to be acting a fool, then it's not going to look good. So,
yeah. And so I also want to throw out there too that, and I've been stating, this has been a real big theme over the last couple, 3 weeks with me. Right. And it's based off some other stuff that I've read. And it got me to thinking that this was right, is we need to practice inclusiveness, being inclusive. Is that a word, inclusiveness?
Yeah, all inclusive.
Or all inclusive, right? And here's the thing is I've stated some stuff and I've put some articles up on my Facebook page where I've talked about this. And I put articles up on the Facebook page that I knew that lots of people probably would disagree with, right? And I'm not arguing with them. I'm just putting them up there, right? We all agree on different things. And I've seen numbers on my Facebook page go down. People like unliked me and unfriended me or unfollowed my Facebook page. And that is what it is. I'm not going to back off what I'm going to say here. So when you're at this rally, you need to understand that as a Second Amendment Second Amendment supporter, a gun owner, you're not the people on the right, the Republicans, they're not the only people that like firearms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's people on the left that enjoy shooting, that enjoy their Second Amendment rights. There's people in the LGBTQ community that like their gun rights and then support the Second Amendment. There's people that are Presbyterians. There's people that are Mormons. There are people that are Christians. There are people that are Catholics. There are, all those,
Jewish, Muslim, whatever.
They want to practice their Second Amendment rights. They want to practice their right to be able to defend themselves. Self-defense does not check itself out at the door just because you're not Republican. It does not matter.
You don't have to be a white Republican Christian to be a gun owner.
And so we need to understand that. And when you go to a rally, or if you're not even in the city, in our area, and you go to a rally up there, you need to understand that there are other people that do this, and we need to be inclusive. It's time for us. We need to all rise up together, right? And we need to fight this. We need to fight these gun bills that are coming down, down the pipe.
Yeah, because it is your right. It is your God-given right to protect yourself. Those gun laws that they're talking about is basically going to turn it into a privilege. You are going to be privileged if you're able to meet the standards to own a gun.
Yeah. And you would be 100%, you would be surprised. I've actually been poking around. There's full-on podcasts. There's liberal podcasts dedicated to liberal gun owners. I'm not naive. I guess I knew they were out there, but I never bothered to look. There's full-on Facebook pages and Instagram pages, liberal gun owners, liberals who shoot guns, liberals who like the Second Amendment. And I joined them, be honest with you. I'm not a liberal necessarily. I'm not a Republican either, but I joined them because I want to see what they're talking about. And guess what? If you were to take away the names, Republican gun owners and liberal gun owners, those two pages look almost 100% exactly alike. Mm-hmm. They really
probably
do
talk about the same stuff.
They talk about the same exact things. Yep. They all like their Second Amendment rights. Now, let's dive a little deeper into this, because this might be a little uncomfortable topic for someone, and probably people are going to disagree with me on this. Okay. Do I like the gun bills that are coming down the line? I don't like them. And we're going to get into what some of those are here shortly. But there are people out there that probably voted for Joe Biden based on other things that they like that he's going to do that aren't related to firearms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not just a one issue voter, right? They like a lot of other things that he wants to do. And they feel warm and fuzzy about certain things, just the same way as Republicans felt warm and fuzzy about some things that Donald Trump did. Right. And even though he was against their gun rights, that he's a threat to the Second Amendment, they wanted to vote for the best person in their mind. Does that make sense?
Well, and that's their right to do.
And that's their right to do so. And just because they voted for Biden, I guess if you're a small business, you can refuse to do business with them. Yes. But they like their gun rights too. They may not be happy with the way Biden is treating the Second Amendment. Just like I know that there's people that voted for Trump that weren't happy, that shouldn't have been happy with the way he treated the bump stocks, right? Mm-hmm. The way he never actually did anything for the Second Amendment. Yeah. He honestly did not. We have to know that. We need to know that people just don't vote on one issue, right? A lot of people vote correctly. They look at all the issues and they're going to go with the one that reflects them the most. Mm-hmm. But they may still like their Second Amendment rights and they're not happy about this. So what needs to happen is we need to come together and we need to discuss, right? We need to rise up. We need to quit calling them libtards. Okay. On my Facebook page, someone's like, I posted an article about that. All those stupid libtards. Well, those stupid libtards there's some of them that like to shoot guns. There's some of them that like their Second Amendment rights. And guess what? They're not all Antifa. Okay. They're not all this or that. Honestly,
it may not be that different from you.
Honestly, go out and broaden your horizons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You don't have to join the left movement, but find those gun owner pages of people on the left and the social medias and check it out. They're as passionate about their firearms as you. They really are. They ask the same questions, say the same things. We need to understand that, and we need to all come together.
That's the only way you're going to win this thing.
That's the only thing you're going to win. The way you're going to win this thing. You need to know that if you go to a freaking rally, okay, and I'm being a little silly here, but if you go to a freaking rally and Bubba is there and he's dressed up as Jill that day, you need to shake Jill's hand and thank him for being there, helping defend your guys' Second Amendment rights and your right to carry a gun.
Well, because
he
honestly,
can dress up and do what he wants, but as long as he's supporting my Second Amendment rights, I really don't care.
Honestly, who's to stop him? I mean, once they take one right away, they're going to take everything else away.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no stopping it. So you have to band together in order to beat this thing. That's the only way.
Yeah. We need to put religion aside. We need to put race aside, and we just need to focus on the one thing we all have in common. And I know I'm starting to sound like, because even in my mind, I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but it's just true. I mean, we have to. I have so many people that come and take classes from me, right? And I would never look at you and say, you're from California, you can't take a class from me.
Right. Well, that's essentially what it boils down to.
You're a liberal. You can't take a class from me.
Yeah.
I don't like the church you go to. You can't take a class from me. I would never do that. The right to self-defense and defending oneself is inherent to absolutely all of us.
It should be non-discriminate.
It shows no bounds, right? As long as you can legally own a firearm, you can take a freaking class from me. I do not care who you are. I don't care if you're married to a tree stump. I don't care if you go out and worship the gods of the forest. It does not matter to me. I will help you, teach you how to defend yourself, teach you how to use your firearm. I don't care. And that's just where I stand. Now, I talked about it last podcast. There was an ammunition company, Phoenix Ammunition, said, they asked you a question. Did you vote for Joe Biden? And if you clicked on it, they weren't going to sell you anything. That is their right as a private company to do whatever they want to do. They can do that, right? It doesn't matter. All they're doing is selling a bunch of freaking overpriced ammo anyway. Doesn't matter. Do what you want to do. And they made some valid points. They came out and said, I will agree with them. They said, well, if you voted for Biden, you essentially voted for the guy that said he was going to stop online ammo sales, which is essentially going to put me out of business. I get that. You do what you want, but I think they're missing a whole section of people that would proudly come out and support them. That's their deal. That is their choice. As a small business owner, we all make choices. I'm making a choice right now. I'm making a choice that in a state that voted for Trump, right? And I'm not saying I voted for Biden. I'm a libertarian voter, but I'm making a statement. I'm coming out, and I know the anger. I've seen it on my Facebook page. I'm coming out and I'm saying it doesn't matter who you voted for. We all have to come together. People don't like that message.
Yeah.
You're all libtards. You voted for Biden. You're all this. People don't like that message. I'm making a business choice. Will it hurt me? Possibly. I've already lost some follows on Facebook, however you rate that. Will it help me? I don't know. Possibly. But you know what? I'm being me, and that's who I want to be. But
that's the other thing is it's your right to vote how you want to.
Right.
And it's also none of anybody else's business how you vote.
Yeah, exactly.
So for them to ask, did you vote for Joe Biden? That's none of your business.
And I don't have to do business with you if you asked.
Yeah. I mean,
right.
I don't have to divulge who I voted for. I don't have to tell you, my political affiliation. I don't have to tell you any of that crap.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Okay. Breathe, Todd. Breathe,
yeah.
Mark.
I'm breathing.
See, you tell that's kind of, I get worked up.
No, totally. And
I'm just
like,
I just see, I think there's a bunch of naive people out there that they think that they're the only ones that like the Second Amendment. You got to be on the right and you're going to save it. And we need to band together. We need to unite.
This is kind of on that subject. I had a gentleman the other day come into the store dressed up. You obviously just got done at church. This was a Sunday. It might've been like last Sunday or the Sunday before it.
Right.
Anyway, is a black gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really see I don't look at somebody's skin color and
Right.
instantly, form an opinion about them. I look at the content of their character. And I wear this pin that, when I'm at work, I wear this pin. It's the Idaho with the thin blue line on it.
Yes.
Because I'm very much a supporter of law enforcement
Sure.
and stuff. And he came in the store looking for ammo. And
like everybody else.
Yeah, like everybody else. And
yeah.
He saw my pin and he points at it and I instantly knew what he was pointing at. And I'm thinking, oh, great, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
But I shouldn't have thought that, because he came out, he says, I like your pin. He says, I fully back the blue.
Nice.
And I said, well, I appreciate that. I'm very much passionate. I'm very passionate about supporting the police officers and stuff.
That's fantastic.
And, I had a huge conversation with him. I mean, just out of the blue, just random conversation with him. And it was like very, very surprising, but it made me feel really good afterwards.
Right.
And the gentleman was a truck driver. He's, and I thanked him for that. I think it was great that, he was willing to share all this information with me and share some of his views and stuff like that. So they're not all, you can't think of everybody thinking one way.
Yeah.
You got to keep an open mind. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Oh yeah, for sure. You have to. I mean, closed-minded isn't going to win any game. Yeah. It's not going to win any game. It's not going to win any war. It's not going to win anything.
Yeah.
You've got to be open-minded, but I don't know, just something to think about. Disagree, agree, I don't care. Just show up to a rally. If there's one in your neck of the woods, show up, show your support. Let's be responsible, right? Let's not go out there and look like a bunch of freaking yahoos, because we don't need that. We don't need that at all.
It's literally the last thing we need right now.
Literally, that I think they're
looking for fuel.
They are looking for that.
The fire.
So real quick, we're gonna shift gears again. You know us. We like to grind gears, go backwards. We like to skip from first to fourth, back to
Reverse
second. Sometimes we try to just throw it into freaking reverse, and we lose gears. And that's probably one reason why my scouts broke down over there. Yeah. So
neutral sometimes.
Yeah, whatever. Sometimes we just spin in neutral and go absolutely nowhere. So I just forgot to announce something. So in my class that I had today, in my permit classes, I always have a bullseye competition. And I'm going to mention this because he's a buddy of mine. My buddy, Heath Clark. Heath Clark won it. He won the hat, right? He best shot in the class. He got a hat, and I'll post the pictures up on the, he posed for the pictures. It was wonderful. And I will post the pictures up on the Patriot Defense Facebook page. If you have not found it, go find it, like it, take a look at it, and I'll post his pictures up there. I just wanted to kind of give him a holler. And I will say Heath is doing some really cool stuff. If you're into music, if you like country music or anything like that, Heath is a singer, songwriter, and he is actually just getting ready to make like his third or fourth trip to Nashville to finally finish up his album. And he's got a song that plays locally on the radio around here, and he does a lot of gigs and a lot of shows here locally. And if he's listening, I just want to kind of wish him luck. And I tell you what, I may hit old Heath up, and I don't know many singer songwriters, and maybe he can give us some music for the show.
Oh, there you go.
That'd be freaking sweet. Yeah. I know a guy, and I bet you I could get permission, and I bet you'd do that for me.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We need to have him write like a Wild West like gun song or something.
There you go.
Freaking sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna tag him in this. He'll see this. He'll see this.
Put him on the spot.
We're greasing the wheels here. That's right. That's right. So a big news story came today, and I think you saw it, right?
Yeah.
I am going to pull it up. I sent it to you. Let me pull it up here. I didn't get anything printed off just because I'm not that organized today. Take the COVID-19 vaccine. I don't want to. So here we go.
Tracking the COVID-19. That's what I got on mine.
Yeah, whatever. I saw taking. Okay.
Okay.
Says 3 killed, 2 3 killed, 2 hospitalized after argument at Jefferson gun outlet leads to shots fired. So this is down in Louisiana. I don't know how to say that word. We need Tarver here. We need the Cajun cowboy here. Says the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office is investigating a shooting at the Jefferson gun outlet in Louisiana. You can't say it either, can you?
I'm trying to, but I can't.
According to Sheriff Joseph Lapinto, 3 people are dead and 2 people were taken to area hospitals. It says, oh, great. Around 2:50 p.m., deputies responded to the shooting. Deputies found several victims suffering from gunshot wounds. Sources say that a man entered the gun outlet with a loaded gun unholstered. Sources say that the man got into an argument with the clerk who told him he should not have a loaded gun until he got inside the range. Safety first, folks. According to sources, they say shots were fired during the argument when at least 2 customers on the range engaged the man. The man was shot, but also fired back at the 2 customers who were also injured. This time, it says it appears that the suspect shot 2 victims inside the location, then was engaged by the 2 customers and shot outside the location by multiple other individuals. The suspect is one of the deceased on scene, and I think there are a couple more that actually have passed away. So I look at this and I think back to all the mass shootings and other different stuff we've had. And what have we always said? So I'm going to look at this a different way. And this is just Todd's opinion. Okay. And sometimes Todd's opinion goes way out there. So I look at this. We always say, well, it's funny. It's funny. You never see him going somewhere where guns are allowed to shoot people.
Yeah.
This seems a little odd to me. Now, there was a range when I lived in Kansas. There's a range in the Wichita area where people, like 3 people, poor range. I can't believe how they even stayed open, but like 3 different people committed suicide in the rain. They went in there and they would rent a gun and they go shoot it and then they'd commit suicide right there in the range. It's horrible.
Wow.
Okay. So this guy is a gun owner, right? So let me lay this out. He goes there. He's gonna go into the range. He's gonna rent a lane to shoot. He shows up with a loaded gun unholstered. First of all, I see that from a brand new person, right?
Yeah.
A brand new person. I've seen it. That's happened in my class before, right? Unholstered, loaded gun, unholstered, whatever. You take it, you clear it, you talk to them, and they're usually like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But this guy is approached and he gets mad and he gets into an argument and then he shoots the employee that says that's not allowed. We need to unload this thing. We need to put this thing in a holster and then we can get you a lane on the range. I'm assuming that's what went down exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't there to hear the conversation. Okay. So who reacts that way? Who reacts that way and shoots somebody over it? At a gun range where there's guns and there's people shooting already. Is this we don't know yet. I'm making assumptions. Mm-hmm. Is this just a really big moron? Is this a guy that was planted there? I won't even say the left because I don't want to say the left. Planted by gun grabbers, or he was a gun grabber and he wanted to go in and show how stupid we were, right? And try to shine a bad light on us. Or did he go in there and want to commit suicide, but he wanted someone else to shoot him instead? It
could be numerous things there.
It seems fishy to me.
It does seem a little strange, and it's almost like set up.
It does seem set up because who does that? You see shootings at a school. You see shootings at the mall. You see shootings where? In gun-free zones.
Yes. Yeah.
Why is that? Because other people are going to engage. It's not going to go well for the shooter.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you look at this one? We don't know yet. It's still really early.
Right. And I don't know. That's a weird one because I've never gone to a gun range where I had anything loaded.
So where do you think how do you think this is going to get spun? I mean, if immediately the right or the left, if immediately the gun grabbers, I'm trying to fix my language. Right. If immediately gun grabbers come out and say, oh my gosh, look at this tragedy. This is absolutely horrible.
This was not
These gun owners are not responsible. This was not a gun-free zone.
Yeah.
And if they come out and start thinking on that makes me think this was set up. And I'm not trying
How many times do we say that the gun-free zone is like a target-rich environment? That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
For a potential shooter, with bad intentions.
Yeah.
So maybe they're trying to point it out that, oh no, this was in a non-gun free zone and it still happens.
And they are they're pushing hard right now.
Oh yeah.
Like really hard. I want to know, I'm interested to see how this is going to be spun.
Well, this is so this kind of goes to something that happened today. It didn't happen at a range, but guys showed up at the counter. I mean, just walked right up to the counter. Dan and I were there. He whips out his gun, says, I want a holster for this. Like muzzle flashes Dan and I both, right?
Right.
And I'm like, whoa, and I've never been to the point where I'm completely uncomfortable.
Right.
With somebody, I'll get the gun out of the case when we're selling one or showing one, then I'll clear it and give them an opportunity to clear it and everything. But usually if somebody comes in wanting to check holsters, they'll ask us first or something. That's usually, that's etiquette,
Sure.
Gun store etiquette. This guy walks right in, wow, just rips it out, flashes it to, right. Muzzle flashes all of us.
It's all loaded, I'm sure.
Oh, it was, well, okay. He took the mag out right as, after he flashed us.
He didn't clear the gun though.
No, didn't clear the gun. Took the magazine out, had rounds all the way up it. And
did you reach over and
then he set it on the table. Set it on the
reach
counter.
over there and freaking clear that sucker?
Dan reached right up, grabbed it, and cleared it.
And there one in the chamber?
No, there wasn't one in the chamber. But,
so he was also carrying with a round not chambered, which is good for you.
Yes.
But.
Oh man, I've been doing this for 4 years, 5 years almost, and
right.
I've never been as uncomfortable as I was today.
So that leads us into, being behind the gun counter, you're not used to that because you had never handled the gun. You didn't handle the gun first.
No. Yeah.
So if you hand a gun to someone, you're going to take the mag out, rack the slide, make sure it's clear. You do that for what? For your safety. For
my safety. Yeah.
And then when you hand it to the person, if they know what they're doing, right? You never hand I don't think you guys hand the magazine with it at all, do you?
It depends. Sometimes I'll just set it down and
okay. Typically, they should grab it, even if it's locked back, point it in a safe direction, keep the finger off the trigger, rack the slide a few times, and make sure for themselves that it's safe. Right? That's what they should do.
Yeah, and about 95% of the people do that.
You're pretty used to, and you shouldn't be, but you are, and I get it because I'm kind of used to a certain extent as well. But you're kind of used to guns being looked at and viewed, but after they've been cleared by you.
Yeah.
But you're used to them kind of being pointed random.
Right, and I shouldn't be, but yes, I am.
I am the same way. So in my class, it's a learning thing. Now I don't laugh at it. I don't let it go, but I'm used to guns getting pointed at me. I just am to a certain extent. And I hear people go in other clubs, they're like, and I'm like, yeah, I see it. I will address it. And I do address it. You don't want to jump on the person, right? You don't want to make them feel bad or startle them or make them upset, right? You need to convey that it was serious and please don't do that. This is what we do. This is why, you got to explain everything. So this brings up something else though. So I have three, this is going to go into like 4 different stories here. I have 3 different guns that I use in class to demonstrate some stuff. I have an actual firearm that I will clear numerous times, and I will have someone else in the class clear the gun as well. And I use that to talk about trigger press, right? Because it's got an actual trigger on it, and I'm going to be able to demonstrate a good, decent trigger press with it. I also have an airsoft gun, which is a fully functional airsoft gun. It's the same make as it's a G19, specifications, you name it. It works, slide works, trigger works, all that good stuff. Okay. Then I also have a BB gun. It's a solid chunk of plastic. It will shoot BBs. It's never had a BB in it in its life. It's never even had a CO2 cartridge in it in its life. The slide does not work. The trigger does depress, but it's a chunk of black plastic. And it does look like a real gun. Yeah. But it's just a solid piece of plastic. When I use those in class, when I demonstrate stuff with them, even the BB gun, right? I treat it like an actual firearm. I will not point it at anybody. I do not, I obey all the safety rules, correct? Because I'm doing that for my muscle memory, right? I'm doing that for my muscle memory. I always want to be safe. If it feels like a gun in my hand, I'm going to not put my finger on the trigger and, all that good stuff. Point in a safe direction. So I have a law enforcement officer that has to come and teach part of my permit class. And he doesn't do this with anything but the BB gun. But the BB gun, he tells a story about how, he tells about how when law enforcement shows up, if you've used your gun for self-defense, you need to obey law enforcement, right? Right. You need to reholster your gun, or if they tell you to put it on the ground, you need to put it on the ground, and you need to do what they say.
Exactly.
And he talks about how certain guns look like actual firearms. And he picks up this gun, this plastic BB gun, and he tells a story of some people driving down Highway 30 here, and they were pointing airsoft guns at cars, and someone called it in, and he pulled him over, and he goes, Todd, and he tells everyone in the class, that looked like a real gun to me. And if they had pulled that gun up and pointed it at me, oof, it would have been ugly, because it did not have an orange tip on it. It looked like an actual firearm. Yeah. And then he picks up the BB gun, and he doesn't put his finger on the trigger, but he points it at the class, and he says, can you tell me that this is a real gun or a BB gun? Can you tell the difference? And they can't, right?
Right.
And he's not using the actual 9mm. He's using what I'm considering a dummy gun. That bothers some people.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And it should to a certain extent, right? You don't want that gun pointed at you, right? But that is a dummy gun. He laid it on the table once, and there was a lady in class that had taken numerous private classes from me. He laid it on the table, and I always keep him pointing in a safe direction. He just laid it there, and it was kind of pointing toward a gal in class. And she was watching it. Well, I could see it was bothering her. And she stood up, she walked over, she just turned, she goes, that's making me nervous. I don't like that. She'd turn it away. I get it. You do you, right? It was just a dummy gun. But if that makes you nervous, I totally get that. So I took this class that I've been talking about forever now. And in this class, they had actual blue gun. It was an orange gun, but it was like a blue gun. And just a chunk of plastic, nothing worked, trigger didn't depress, nothing. And he was showing us and demonstrating a lot of stuff with it. And he was swinging this thing around and just pointing it at everyone in the class. Now, he wasn't pointing at us going bang, 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 but he's just swinging it around. It's a dummy gun. I get it. I know that. Well, in my women's class, I was showing some videos, okay, the other night. This is actually on Thursday. And my wife attends these classes as well. It's kind of a perk of being married to me. I'm trying to get $400 out of her, but she won't give it to me. So she was in that class, and she's not as gun savvy as I would like her to be, right? I mean, she's just not, and she's trying to get better. She wants to get better, right? She feels like she should be since she's married to me. And I was showing a video. It was a straight up video, and they were using a blue gun, and a lady was holding the blue gun in a stance, and she's demonstrating the proper stance of a firearm. And the guy on the video that was talking about it kept walking in front of that gun. It was pointing right at him. And that bothered my wife. And she said something afterwards. Well, he just kept walking in front of that gun. He kept walking in front of that gun. And I was like, well, I explained, it's a blue gun. It's just a training gun. It's a chunk of plastic. But I get what she was saying, right? How far what's too far? So that's a training gun. You're going to train with it. And I get it. But I would personally, I would have a hard time even with a training gun pointing it at someone. First of all, I don't want to develop the muscle memory or anything like that. I don't want to become so relaxed that I accidentally point the real gun at someone. Does that make sense? Yeah. I don't want to do that. That's me. I don't want to slip up. If you can make a differentiation, and a lot of people can, I'm okay with that. You do you, right? For me, it's not cool, but do you see what I'm saying here? I don't know what's right and what's wrong. Should you point a dummy gun at someone? Now, I think if you're going up and saying, I'm going to shoot you, and even though it's a dummy gun, you obviously wouldn't do that in class, but to a certain extent, you've got to train with stuff, and stuff's going to happen. I mean, I don't know what the answer is.
So we've got, at the store, we've got a blue gun. It's a Glock 17,
right,
mold.
Sure.
We've got the Crimson Trace, like the green Railmaster laser on it, just to demonstrate the lasers, how they work and stuff. And I'll mess with the clothing gals when they're down there, like putting pants away or something.
Sure.
I'll shine the laser down there and mess with them. But if a customer walks in the door, I put the gun down. I just I'm so trained on that I don't want to even point a dummy gun at anybody.
Doing this, I see a lot of stuff. And when I went and took this class, I was okay with it. But when I first started doing that, I first saw him, moving. I was like,
yeah,
I'll be honest with you. Maybe I'm just a noob, I guess. I've been doing this for a while. Okay. But when I saw, I was like, oh.
Yeah,
it took me by surprise. Well, I got used to it, but I knew it was just literally it's a chunk of plastic.
Right. Well, you and I both know because you had those UTM
That's weird.
That is the weirdest thing, because you wanted me to shoot you. You're like, you got the whole shield, the face shield, everything on. You're like, here, shoot me. And I'm like, I don't know. Like I felt really weird about doing it.
That thing feels just like a gun.
It does, and it operates just like one.
So let me talk about, and I'll tell you, as seeing a gun, your buddy aim what looks to be a G19 at you is weird too.
Oh yeah.
So let me ask you this, because I know you've done a lot of airsoft. How's the airsoft thing working?
The airsoft is totally.
It's a gun though.
It's a gun, but you're in that mode. This is the weirdest thing, because I get uncomfortable about it.
Right.
But then when I'm in a mode where I'm, it's combat to me. Like, it's not real. You're not going to die.
It's practice.
But you're putting yourself in that scenario on purpose.
Right.
To get that high, to get that adrenaline.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you do get it. I mean, it's about the closest thing you're going to get without actually being in combat,
Right, type pop you with the UTM round, dude.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's like, so that's different to me.
Right.
I don't have a problem shooting somebody with an airsoft gun when they're trying to shoot back at me.
Right.
So
right.
If somebody's just walking along and I pull out the airsoft gun and just pop them,
you're probably going to shoot you back.
Yeah,
with something.
That's just not.
Yeah.
I won't do that.
Right.
But if I'm in that scenario, in battle, so to speak, like
battle.
Yeah, in the middle of it, you don't think of stuff like that. It totally goes.
Well, I think if you're, I think it's just going to affect people differently. Not even talk about the airsoft, but back to the classroom where we were talking about actual gun. And I'll be honest, when the law enforcement officer grabs a gun and goes, "Can you tell that this is just a BB?" I'm like, part of me is like,
right,
don't do that.
But you gotta, on his side of it,
he's trying to.
They have to make that split second decision. Like anybody should.
No, they do that. And he's trying to prove a point. But I mean, even if it was just a chunk of plastic, I wouldn't do it. If he wants to do it, that's fine. And it may bother some people. It honestly may bother.
It definitely makes you feel uncomfortable. Like I said, today when that guy did what he did, that was the most uncomfortable I've ever been behind the counter.
Right. Well, I think part of that too is because you didn't handle that gun first.
No, and the guy, we had no idea what the guy wanted. He walked up.
That's a good way to get shot.
Literally pulled his gun out, and when he pulled his gun out, he just went, just flagged
everyone,
everybody.
So you liken that back to that shooting today, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's.
So there was a good. So here, let's do this. Let's play this out. That guy pulls his gun out, flags everyone with it. Okay, you don't know what he's doing. He doesn't seem to be angry.
Right.
But
I didn't know either.
You didn't know that. But okay, granted, it was at a gun counter. But someone sees someone reach down, can draw a gun from their waist, right, from a holster, right, which they shouldn't freaking be doing anyway.
Right.
And go like this. Sorry, make a bunch of noise. Draw it and swing it around. What if someone else in that store saw him do that? Exactly. And they're like, "Oh my God, shooter!"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could have been. That could have been bad.
And they definitely will know that there's no loaded guns behind that counter because, for safety reasons, I guarantee you, there's no loaded guns behind that counter. I could be wrong. I'm making an assumption, right? But shooter.
Right.
You might get freaking popped for that.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that the guy's going to get off necessarily, but that's a dangerous situation right there.
Dan, I don't know how Dan did it. He held his composure really well. I walked away. I was going to lose it. I was about to go off on the guy.
Right.
And Dan held his composure really well. Dan's, he's retired law enforcement, and he looked back at me when that guy did that. And I know exactly what he was thinking. We're
going to die.
Yeah. Well, I almost thought that. I thought, oh shit, this is going down.
Yeah. Yeah.
The way he came up there, just so abrupt and just so in one motion, I'm just like, what the hell?
You don't know if he was, and it's like one of those things, you don't know if he's trying to show you his firearm or if he's like walking in, drawing it to do something bad with it. You have no freaking idea.
I had no idea. The guy walked in walked in the door, walks right up to the counter and just goes for it. And I'm like, no warning, no like, hey, I have this gun. I want to try and find a holster for it.
Have you guys ever thought about putting a like, you know, one of those like bullet catches in, to where if you say and have a sign up that says, hey, look, if you're looking for a holster for your carry gun, do not draw your firearm in here. Let us know. We will walk you back to this. We will clear the gun and we will render it useless, unloaded, and then we can then take it.
We have a bullet catch.
A bullet catch.
Here's the thing.
People ignore it, don't they?
Well, no, we try and use it as much as we can, but people don't know what it is. They'll ask, oh, is that a mortar launcher or something? You know, I'm like, no.
Freaking hell, people.
But here's the funny thing is, I mean, it's not funny.
Yeah, because we sell mortars.
We currently have that down at the new store, which is non-operational. Like the store's not operating.
Right.
So for us to be selling guns at the current location, what good is it going to be to have it down at the new store?
Yeah. So you guys going to have a sign up that says, hey, look, if you want to, I mean, is that something? I mean,
I hope so. They've kind of integrated it.
There needs to be something.
Well, they put the bullet catch down at the new store. They've integrated it into the counter where before, and it's facing the customer.
Frankly, I've never seen it at even your old store.
It sits behind the counter at our store. So literally you got to walk around to the side of the counter to clear the, to clear the gun, make sure it's all good. This way the customer walks up and that's the first thing we say, okay, put it in. If he
wants to show you his gun and
exactly. So it's a little set up better.
Do you let them do it or do you guys do it?
We're supposed to do it. And we're supposed to, stick our finger down the chamber, which goes against everything I was ever told is.
Well, you can stick it on the inside, just not down the barrel.
Well,
have you never physically felt? You're supposed to do that.
No, I know. Well, okay.
Okay, I'm confused.
Yeah, no, but like, you stick your finger in the chamber, to make sure that there's nothing in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's a thing.
That's going to take your finger off if you hit that button.
If you hit the button, it only hurts for a second.
Yeah, it only hurts for a second. So, but no, that's what we're supposed to do. And, we do it, pretty often actually, because if somebody brings in a rifle and they've taken the bolt completely out of it, Yeah,
I'm going to tell you this, that if I ever come, which I won't do this, if I ever come in there and I'm buying a holster for my gun and you guys have to clear my carry gun and you're going to stick your finger in there and physically check while you're in there, would you apply a little pressure and clean off that feed ramp for me? And you might need a fingernail. Keep your fingernail of your pinky and just sit there and just chisel some of that carbon off there. I might get an extra 6 months out of the gun that way before I have to clean it again.
Scrape it
for me while you're in there. So I don't know. That's an interesting talk. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer for I think that's just, on the, I guess using the blue guns and how safety applies to them. I don't know that there is a good answer. I see all kinds of stuff done. I'm going to be hyper aware and hypersensitive to the fact that I'm not doing that at all.
Yeah. I very much am with any of the guns I handle, whether it's a blue gun or not.
Yeah.
I do that. Even my drill, my cordless drill, I have my trigger discipline. I have all that stuff.
I tried to, but when I walk by my 7-year-old, I got that in my hand. I like to kind of get it next to him and go like that. He squeals and runs away. It's freaking great. So I don't know how good a trigger discipline I have with my DeWalt cordless drill.
Right.
But I love the mess. I love the mess of my 7-year-old. It's great.
I'm still waiting for somebody to make a high point that's yellow and black, and because those things fit the DeWalt drill holsters like you wouldn't believe.
I've got one.
A yellow and black one?
No, I got one I could make yellow. I don't mind. It's still got bacon grease on the damn thing.
Make it yellow and black and then get a DeWalt holster, like the drill holsters.
Yeah, they fit them good.
They fit, like those high point guns fit those holsters like perfect.
Sweet. I'll try it out. But so is there anything that we missed tonight?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
We need to go over the HR 127.
Yes, I knew I was forgetting something. So HR, where's it at here?
This is the stuff that they're trying to impose and basically take away your Second Amendment rights.
So I've kind of taken a look at this, but there's a group that came out with they had a picture up on Facebook, and it's the penalties, the HR 127 penalties explained, right? We know what this is going to do, right? We know what they want to do if you kind of saw that overview, but I don't know if anyone has seen the penalties yet. So there's 4 of them.
They're going to basically turn the
Of course,
law-abiding citizen into a criminal overnight.
Have you actually heard this? What the straight up penalties are, though?
No, this is what they would
I
do.
didn't know if you actually. Okay, possessing guns and ammo without a license. They want you to get a license,
national license,
right? The penalties for not doing that: 15 to 25 years in prison, with a $75,000 to $150,000 fine, or both.
Yeah,
it's insane.
No, it is insane. That's a harsher penalty than like a criminal would get for a felon would get for having a firearm.
Well, they don't even enforce those ones hardly.
No, they don't.
So transfer of firearm and ammo to an unlicensed person. 10 to 15 years in prison with the same $50,000 to $75,000 fine, or both.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Again, harsher than what a felon would actually get.
Okay. Number 3, give guns or ammo to an unlicensed person. Just give them, right?
Right.
5 to 10 years in prison, $30,000 to $50,000 fine.
So you're out of the gun range. You're shooting guns with your kid.
Yeah.
That doesn't have a license.
Yes. No. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You give him the gun, you give him the ammo to shoot.
That's just giving him to shoot.
Yeah, just giving it to him.
Okay. The next one is loan guns. You want to go shooting? Here, take my gun with you.
Take my gun.
You're not licensed? I don't care. Here you go.
I need to go hunting, but I don't have a hunting rifle.
That's right.
Oh, here.
Loan guns or ammo to an unlicensed person. $5,000 to $10,000 fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. This is why I talked, or this is that whole, the first probably, and it was only meant to be like 9 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The whole, literally the first 25 or 30 minutes of this freaking podcast. We need to get together. We need to rise up. This is ridiculous.
What gets me is when they were saying that they wanted to do like psychological evaluations and and they were going to contact your parents and your siblings and your neighbors and like what they were doing in New York. You know? And but no, the other one was they're going to contact your ex-wife. And I'm like, like, great, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she freaking hates you. So we need to pay attention to these. This is crazy.
Yeah. It's insane. Like I said earlier, they're taking your right and turning it into a privilege.
Yes.
Like if you have to have all this stuff, then it's a privilege, you know.
I'm saying you need to be nervous of this. We need to watch this. We need to keep an eye on this. We need to know what's going on. I'm still not 100% that this is going to pass, right?
Right.
You just don't know.
I would think that there's at least some Democrats out there that are going to look at this and be like, no, this is not
so
right.
So it's like one of those things. What are they going to do? We know that this was been on their agenda for a long time, right? Yeah. It seems like they are going pedal to the metal.
No, they're going for the throat.
No holds barred. First one right out of the gate. We're going to get it all. We're going to throw this at the wall.
Yep.
We are going to see if it sticks. Do they know that maybe it won't make it? And so they're going to break it down and hide a bunch of this little stuff into other bills. So we're focused on this one and we're fighting this one. And there's something tucked into this one over here that's going to give, $500 million to study walruses in Antarctica. And then there's going to be a little piece of gun legislation in there. Yeah. I mean, do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I hate to say it, and I don't want to give them credit, but they're actually playing a very smart game.
They are.
They're sneaking stuff in without people even knowing.
Well, here's the thing: is they've said it, they've thrown it out there. We're expecting it. We're seeing it. They're doing what they do, and they just flood social media with this.
Yep.
We're focused on it, which we need to be. We're focused on it, but that's what we're focused on, and we're not going to see everything else. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. Do you want a stimulus? You're gonna have to go. You may have to go get a vaccine if you want your next stimulus check.
Probably.
You want your stimulus check? Guess what? In that bill, you want that bill passed? Guess what might be in that bill? Gun control.
Yep.
I mean, people will do anything for $600. They freaking will.
Yeah.
They really will. And it's really interesting to me.
They're playing smart ball right now.
Yeah, pay attention to it because it's a coming. I do want to end on a good note though. Montana. Utah did last week. I think Montana
and Utah.
Utah did it. I talked about it last week. Montana signed in. I believe they signed it in.
Yep.
Constitutional carry. So that's what we need more states to do. We do need more states to do that. So I think that's kind of something that is catching on.
This is a constitutional republic, by the way. So
yes,
might as well follow the Constitution.
There you go, sir. There you go. So we're going to end the note by saying, hey, look, I think everyone needs to try and push for their cities and counties, even if you don't live in the great state of Idaho. I think you need to push for your to become Second Amendment sanctuaries. You need to do that. At the very least, you need to get your city council, your county commissioners, your sheriff to stand up and say, this is where I stand on the Second Amendment. This is where we stand on it. This is what we're going to do. You need to know, and then see what happens and find out if you need to get yourself new elected officials or not. But until then, thank you for tuning in to the Patriot Defense Podcast. Thank you for listening. I was told today, and I was slightly offended by it, Magnum, that it was a good podcast that we did, but they were kind of spotty. I am on here most freaking weekends. Now, maybe it's not always Saturday evening when people want to watch the YouTube live, but if you look up there, we haven't had more than 2 viewers tonight, maybe 3 at one point, but I try to do one every weekend.
Who are the viewers?
I don't know. There's a little people-shaped things up there.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell us who they are.
Nobody likes to comment anymore.
Comment. Come on.
If it was Sarah, she'd say hello.
We want to know who you are.
Magnum's not on here tonight because I told him I wasn't doing it. Oh. But I tell you what, there's a little thing. There's a little thing on the YouTube, Patriot Defense YouTube page. You can be notified when we go live.
Notified.
You can click the notification button. But anyhow, I try to do one every weekend. It doesn't always work out. So if I'm a little spotty, I am sorry.
Well, you're a human.
I am a human.
You got stuff you got to do too.
I'm getting really comfortable though doing these myself now, and I'll use your help whenever you want to show up.
Yeah.
But you need to take a listen to my last one. I did over an hour by myself.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's freaking hard. I tell you,
I can't even think straight for an hour.
It is hard sitting in here for an hour doing a podcast by yourself. It really
you feel like you're talking to yourself.
It is really not the easiest thing to do. So I appreciate you guys hanging in with me. I appreciate you guys downloading and listening. I really appreciate you sharing this with your friends. Share it on your social media pages, the video, and when I post up the link, if you're on iTunes, if you're on Spotify, grab that link and post it up on social media. I'm not going to quit doing this. I don't care if we go down to like freaking, 22 and a half listeners. I don't care. I'll keep doing this no matter what. I really enjoy doing this podcast.
22 minutes.
Whatever.
I don't know.
I've got all the equipment, so it just takes a little bit of time, and I enjoy doing this. I enjoy doing this podcast, especially in the summer when we can go out and go shoot first.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun.
And then come in.
That's fun.
That's a good time. But share it with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got one question for you.
Sure.
Tree stump. You said earlier, marry a tree stump. Where'd you come up with tree stump?
That's always been something I've said. It's like my big deal is you do you and I'll do me. And if you want to marry a tree stump and that makes you happy, I really don't care.
All right, cool.
As long as you're happy, I do not care what you do, who you marry, even really what you believe. If you're a good person and you want to hang out, a tree stump. Some people like tree stumps, man. I don't know.
You can sit on them.
Some kind of wood. Some kind of woods fairy or something.
There you go.
Anyhow, share the podcast. I appreciate it. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, those other
Spotify,
ones.
That one,
all that stuff. If you guys got a comment or want a question, you can call me. You can text me anytime. If I'm sleeping, that's fine. I will answer it as soon as I wake up in the morning. Area code 620-794-6223. That's area code 620-794-6223. And I would love to get another caller, get another listener on the podcast. There's nothing more that I would love than that. And I'm going to shoot for this next Saturday, the next podcast, James, Magnum, whoever you want us to call you, whatever you want us to call you. I'm going to shoot for Saturday evening, another podcast. I do have a class that day, so I may be like dragging butt, but I will do another podcast. And if you're available, you are invited, sir.
That's our opening weekend, so I'll have to check.
Oh, tell them you got more important things to do. You tell them the Patriot Defense, the guy that supports and sends people to that store, needs you here for a podcast.
I might go around licking doorknobs just so I can get out of it.
Maybe I can show up there. We can do a live podcast from behind the gun counter.
Oh, there you go.
They would not go for that. They would not go for that.
Maybe out in the parking lot.
I don't freaking blame them. Dude, it would be like, what's that movie where they put the radio station in the van and they keep like driving it around?
I don't know.
What is that movie called? It's an old movie.
What?
Like, what is like pump up the volume or something? Or what is that? What is it?
I don't know. I watch a lot of movies and I don't know.
I'll
that
tell you
one.
what, if you know the movie I'm talking about, I forget. It's like, if you don't, if you know that movie, you text me, area code 620-794-6223, area code 620-794-6223. What is the name of that movie? I think it came out like in the 80s. Where the guy had
mobile radio station,
like a pirate radio station, and he rigged it up and he did it out of his van, and he like drove around everywhere. And they couldn't freaking.
Was it in like England or something?
No, no, I don't think so. Right. The FCC couldn't find him. I need to know the name of that movie. So until then, you guys have a good week. Go out and do something Second Amendment worthy, and we will see you next Saturday. Bye. Thank you for listening. On YouTube Live. Shut her down. Shut her down.